Welcome to the City of San Juan Commission meeting for today, August 12, 2014, at 6:05, and we can all rise for the invocation, and I'd like to ask Pastor Rodriguez to please come forward and lead us in the invocation.
Bow our heads, please. Father, we thank you for your goodness, for what is going to take care of this moment at this very hour, for the knowledge, for the power, for the understanding and the clarity, Jesus, and for the blessings that you have upon each of them to do their job according to your will and your kingdom in this earth. Thank you, Father, one more time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And can you all face the flag, and can you begin and lead us in the invocation? Not the invocation, but the Pledge of Allegiance. I to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all may be seated. Under public comments, we have Ramiro Treviño. If you can come forward, please.
City Commission, citizens of Juan. Carlos Ramos, I'm one of the investigators there at the police department. I'm here to invite you all to our annual night out. This will be our 5th night out. We're extremely thrilled about the event. We have prepared over 1,000 backpacks filled with school supplies. I believe that there's a need, not just for the police department, but the city overall to help the needy families here in the PSJ area, those who don't have the financial resources to purchase these school supplies. Throughout the event, there will be youth performances only. There will be some kids that will be singing, performing, dancing. We will be having free games. All the games will be free. Raffles, door prizes will be held throughout the event. There will also be vendors who will be selling food. We will be handing out T-shirts, free T-shirts for the first 350 people who appear there at the event. We will have local law enforcement personnel, as well as our fire department and our medical personnel as well. We will be landing a helicopter. Air evac will be landing one of the fields, so the kids would see the.
On what time, do you know?
We'll be landing the chopper around 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Around 6 o'clock. Right now, we'd like to take the opportunity and thank a couple of our contributors. Firstly, our San Juan EDC. Thank you for your generosity. I think Mr. Tapia, he's here. They did a huge donation, huge. So every year they do, but this year they went all out. So thank you, Mr. Tapia, and thank you for your board. Also, Walmart of Alamo, our Walgreens pharmacy helped us out. Oxy USA, Concrete Ready Mix, Martinez Driving School. And also, I would like to thank our Crime Stopper Board directors for helping us out for this event. And also, if I may, I can recognize our Parks and Rec department that always been giving us a hand in any event that we have throughout the years.
I want to thank you all, and I know that you and Officer Medina were very actively out there recruiting all summer, trying to get the sponsorships. And the fact that we're able to do 1,000, I think was like 100 and some last year, wasn't it? About 120
I think we did 800 last year.
Okay, sorry, then I
800.
missed it. There was 800. Now 1,000, so just about every child that may come by.
Yes.
Hopefully will be able to get a backpack with supplies. So we thank all our sponsors and of course you all for the great work that you do. And I hope that all the community takes that opportunity to come out. And I still have a check waiting for y'all to come pick up.
Okay, thank you. Also, a reminder, it will be this Saturday, August the 16th, from 4 to 10 at our San Juan Municipal Park.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, under B, for presentation by the Parks and Recreation Department on the City of San Juan 2014 Bronco All-Star Team, Mr. Jaime.
Mayor and Commission, good evening. My name is Rene Jaime. I'm the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. Tonight, I'd like to recognize our Bronco 2014 All-Star Team. They've done very well this year. Before I forget, I want to go ahead and get to the most important thing. I got to see them play in Laredo and in Burleson, and I want to tell you they were one of the best behaved, showing the best sportsmanship that I've ever seen in a team. I was very proud of them and their coaches, of course, and the parents who were supporting them.
Can I have you all come up so we can see you? Come forward and face the audience. They can take a look at all of you.
Y'all can spread out. Y'all can spread out this way.
I think it's just very important to recognize that because I think we all know that when you get an opportunity to travel outside of the valley, which is seldom, it's a lifelong memory, an experience that is an enriching experience. And I was just so proud of them and proud to be able to be there with them. I want to go ahead and say a little bit about the team. Overall, their record is 36 wins with only 3 losses this season.
Wow.
And quickly, they were the champions in the Pony Baseball Sectional Tournament in McAllen. They were the runner-up in the Pony Regional Tournament in McAllen. They were also the runner-up in the Pony Baseball Super Regional Tournament in Laredo, which qualified them to go to the Pony Baseball South Zone Tournament, which if they had won that one, they would have gone to California. They were very close to going to California. In that tournament, they ended up 3rd place. And I can tell you that the team that they lost to ended up going to California. And you know, sometimes you have a good day and sometimes you don't have a good day. I think based on what I've seen and based on the 30 seasons of coaching that I've done, that our San Juan team was a better team.
Hey, of course.
Let me just name out our team members and our coaches. We have Juan Miguel Flores. Number 2, Mario Cantu. Number 4, Alex Leva. Number 5, Ethan Castillo. Number 10, Cesar Cantu. Number 11, Justin Morales. Number 13, and I got to see him hit a grand slam in Burleson, Marco Guajardo. There were many home runs. There were many home runs. Number 20, Noah Herrera. Number 25, Santiago Palomín. Usually these next two numbers are reserved for your biggest players as far as stature is concerned. Number 00, Pablo Trevino. And number 99, J.D. Vera. Our coaches included head coach Randy Herrera, assistant coach Santiago Palomín, and assistant coach Pablo Trevino. That's just a picture of them, supporting each other, encouraging each other. Can you go to the next one, Mr. Rodriguez? Another team went after another picture after they medaled, and the next one. And I want to also recognize that because this team went so far, we ran out of funding, and we weren't expecting, or we didn't budget for a team to go as far as they did. Very fortunately, Ms. Lomas, the president of the FAR Sunrise Key West Club, and Mr. Manuel Rivera, he's a San Juan resident, they were able to encourage and and get their club to donate $3,000 for this trip to Burleson.
Awesome.
Can we take a picture with the team?
Absolutely. First of all, congratulations for putting San Juan on the map. To all the coaches and especially the parents who continue to support them. Hope to make it all the way to, where are we going next year? California again? We're going to California.
So make sure you budget, Mr. Jaime.
Can we have the coaches come up with their presents? Huh? Yeah, definitely. Stand up.
Just want to again reiterate how proud we are of your efforts. It's not only good to win, it's also really good to represent your city. It is great to hear from Mr. Jaime that you all were not only great on the field, but demonstrated great sportsmanship. That's what lasts the longest. For some of you, after you graduate from high school, this may be the only time you play, and so those lessons that stick with you are those lessons of sportsmanship, camaraderie with your teammates, and so thank you all for representing us so well. Also to the parents, I understand the sacrifices that you have to make getting home from work and packing them up and taking them to practice and picking them up, and so I also want to recognize each and every one of you for your sacrifice that you make, and then of course the coaches for all that they do, because I know that no good team can get there without a good coach, and so thank you all for your efforts, and thank you for representing San Juan so well.
Thank you. Item C, presentation by the Parks and Recreation Department for the City of San Juan's 2014 participation in the Games of Texas. Mr. Jaime.
Mayor, again, We're very fortunate to have some athletes from the city of San Juan that were able to travel outside of the valley. They went to the Games of Texas, which is the state recreational track meet in College Station. If we have any of the athletes here? Okay. On our track team, we had Alma Villanueva and Daniel Diaz, Jose Avila, Jose Rodriguez, Caleb Dallas, Philip Garcia, Rafael Cantu, and Raul Vargas, Devin Camarillo, and Ashley Tapia.
Are they here tonight?
There's a few.
Can you come forward if your name's being called? Can you come forward? Like to be able to see and recognize you. And if you have your medals, put your medals on. I'd like to see those medals.
This is our gold medalist in the 2-mile at state. Very good.
Awesome.
In tennis, competing at the state level, Alberto Trevino, Anthony West, Ashley Tapia again, Catherine Flores, Daniel Rosales, Esteban Trujillo, Giselle Perez, Jacqueline Loredo, Jessica Trevino, Juliana Flores, Lisa Carvajal, I'm not sure how to pronounce this one, Miss West, I'll say, and Thomas Flores.
All right, if some of you out there come forward. Make sure you come forward.
This time also the
They're coming.
coaches.
Also, I'd like to recognize our coaches, Alejandra Borrego, Joseph Villanueva, Juan Gonzalez, Judy Tapia, Miriam Avila, Ramiro Cantu, and Virginia Rodriguez. Coaches include Gracie Tapia, Howard West, Lisa Carvajal, Lissy Elizondo, Mario Naro, and Taylor Santillan.
Can the coaches come up? If you're here and your name was called, can you come forward? Coaches, any coaches out there? You're so young, I thought you were the medalists. Awesome.
And again, I was able to see them only in the McAllen Regional Meet. Well-behaved athletes, working well with the coaches working well together with staff and the team. It was a good experience, and I'm glad to see so many of our kids that medaled. We have Lisa Carvajal and Anthony West were gold medalists in the 18 and under mixed tennis doubles.
Woo, awesome.
That's at state. Catherine Flores and Jessica Trevino, first place gold medalist in the 14 and under doubles in tennis. Albert Trevino and Daniel Rosales, first place in the 16 and under tennis doubles. Giselle Perez and Miss West, third place in the bronze medal in the 16 and under doubles. And Esteban Trujillo and Thomas Flores, third place in the 16 and under tennis doubles. I'm not sure if I failed to mention, but Lisa Carvajal was a gold medalist in the girls 18 and under singles.
Awesome.
And I don't think the mayor would allow me to call her an Ironman, but Alma Delia Villanueva, first place in state in the girls 3,200 meter run, 16 and under. And again, if we could take a picture with our team.
Definitely. Congratulations to all of you for the great accomplishment. Those that are returning, that you continue to participate and be examples and role models for other kids that are looking up to you, and the coaches for your dedication. And you got to love to do it, to be out there besides everything else you do. So thank you all, and of course, as Mayor Pro Tem, to the parents as well. The community is very proud. Congratulations. Thank you all.
I think that if these young men and women are the future of San Juan, we have a very, very bright future, because not only do we have winners, we have young men and women of great character. And so thank you all again for all your sacrifices and all your hard work, to the parents, the coaches, and to all the boys and girls. Thank you all very much.
And thank you, Mr. Hyman. Make sure you extend those congratulations and good work to the Parks and Rec Board. Thank you. Moving on in the agenda, under item E, is a presentation on the Hidalgo County Hospital District. Is that right? We still needed one more? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hyman, I just kind of wanted to skip over you there. Item D, presentation by the Parks and Recreation Department on the PSJA ISD policy and procedure on naming a building, property, or facility. Mr. Jaime.
Mayor, I'll be brief on this presentation. You and the board had asked some questions about what PSJA does as far as naming facilities, whether it be a building or a gymnasium or a field. And I was able to meet with Dr. King last week and discussed with him what our board was proposing and some of the other issues that had come up where where Commissioner Ramirez had recommended that we kind of look into more possible recommendations as far as naming what's now known as Desert Storm baseball field. And Dr. King was very favorable towards that. Obviously, we're all members of or residents of PSJA, so we can make our recommendations. They have a very good and what I feel is a universal policy as far as naming buildings or renaming facilities if need be. And I know the mayor was also interested in perhaps having a specific policy for the city. So I hope that this helps. Basically, you know, universal standards, somebody that has contributed significantly to the community, someone in good standing, somebody that can be looked up to, obviously. And then as far as the facilities are concerned, there's a preference towards individuals that have passed on versus to those that are still living. And then they ask for supporting documentation for every recommendation, and they also ask for 3 recommended names to be submitted. And of course, they hold on to the fact that they will ultimately make the decision. If they don't want to go with whatever the committee recommends, the board would come up with their final decision, which might be different. In this case, our board did make a recommendation, but after asking them for a number of recommendations, they only had 1 to make. And, you know, Commissioner Ramirez made, I think, 4 or 5, perhaps. So, again, I'll leave it into your hands, and please advise us on how you want to move forward. Thank you.
Now, on item E, presentation on the Hidalgo County Hospital District. We were called into a meeting by the county judge's office, we being the mayors of the different cities here in Hidalgo County, to discuss the proposed hospital district and how we're going to fund through the tax the medical school. And as you know from last year, it got approved that we would have a medical school, but we also have to be able to have $10 million of funding a year that we have to match with a PUF fund that is also by the Texas system. The amount by the legislation, by the state of Texas, is up, says that it can be taxed up to a amount of 75 cents per 100,000 valuation. Now, locally, though, the County Commissioners Court had a agreement that that would not then go all the way to 75, but maybe cap 25. But still, even further discussion by the county judge's office that they're looking at bringing it down as much as to 9%. Now, having invited, I did speak to the county judge's office, and he wants to be present to make the presentation. He wants to be here personally to speak to the community. So this is very important that we can get many people to be here at the next meeting. He wants to be present with his staff. So I'm going to leave the details to him to come and speak to you. This is something that will be brought to the voters in the elections in November. And I thought as we all gathered to speak was we need to understand the reason for it. We need to see what the benefit is of having, of course, the medical school. We all, it's pretty, seems pretty logical, but we all have to be participants in how do we get this and make it a reality. So the mechanics of what it's going to mean to all of us and each community will be explained by County Judge Ramon Garcia at the next meeting. So please make sure that the rest of the community knows, and we take advantage of being able to hear the presentation from the county side and be able to inform ourselves.
Mayor, if I may. I was asked to be on the committee that drew together the memorandum of understanding, and as an update, at this morning's Commissioners Court, an election has been called for November 4th that will have the referendum, and as the mayor said, the judge will be here to discuss the particulars. The one thing that was agreed upon this morning at Commissioners Court is that the initial tax rate for this district will be 8 cents.
Good.
And so that is yes, as I know they were talking about, Senator Hinojosa was recommending 10 cents, and they kind of reached a mutual agreement at 8 cents. There's also discussion that since the county will no longer have to put $8 million out of its budget towards indigent health care, which is the primary reason that hospital districts exist, to provide indigent health care to individuals who live at or below 21% of the poverty level. Since the county won't have to put that $8 million that it has been doing, there's going to be a discussion and consideration of lowering the county tax rate to kind of offset some of the increase from the hospital district. And that's also really good news for our citizens, as the impact of a hospital district will be minimized on the county side by lowering the county tax rate by approximately, their discussion from this morning was 3 to 4 cents. It'll go up by 8 and with this new taxing district, but they're considering on the county side lowering it by 4, so that will significantly minimize the impact. But I look forward to County Judge being here next week, and I personally have gone on the record as supporting the hospital district with some conditions. Many of those have been met. The only last one that still needs to be worked on is as we discussed, the lowering of the county rate. But it looks like they're in the process of doing that, and I think that that'll be welcome for many of us taxpayers. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Under item 6, public hearing and ordinances, A, hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance for the rezoning request from single-family residence district to general business district for the property legally described as lots 1 through 3, Aldama subdivision, unit number 2, located at the northeast corner of Raul Longoria Road and Sally Avenue, as requested by Francisco Delgado. Mr. Cervantes.
Mayor, City Commission, good evening. Mr. Delgado is proposing to rezone the property from single-family residence district to general business district in order to build a car wash facility. The proposed zoning is compatible with the surrounding areas, and the property has frontage on Raul Longoria Road, which is a major city thoroughfare. A public hearing was held on this request by the Planning and Zoning Commission on July 17, 2014. Some surrounding property owners spoke during the Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing, but were generally supportive of Mr. Delgado's plans for his property. During their meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with a 4-0 vote.
I'd like to open up this public hearing at 6:05. Any members of the audience would like to make any comments for or against? Any comments from the members of the public? Not, I open it up to the commission. Mr. Cervantes, this type of facility, is that a drive where folks do it themselves, or it's going to be a paid type of
It's going to be
service?
something similar to a car wash. It's not going to
Okay.
be like a full-blown car wash, but it is going to have an office where you can wait in air conditioning while your car is getting washed.
And I saw that one of the board members was asking regarding the zoning commission was asking about the entrance. And I totally agree with the only entrance being to Raul Longoria. Would that be something that's the state would be approving?
I'm sure the state will allow an entrance from Raul Longoria. They've done it before. And Mr. Delgado, that's his plan for his business, is to just have an entrance and exit from Raul Longoria.
Probably the whole front of the property would just be an entranceway, right?
Exactly, yes.
What about the exit? As far as exiting the location, I read somewhere here that you had proposed exiting through Raul Longoria, that you were going to talk to the owner. Was that discussed? Was he in agreement to having an exit?
No, Mr. Delgado, he has a. he has
Buenas
a-
tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Pásale para el micrófono, por favor.
Sí, está bien.
That's fine.
Del techo para Raúl Longoria, ¿verdad? Ándale.
Todo ese terreno donde dice lot number 2, ¿todo ese también es de usted? Sí. Ok. Sí. ¿Y esta esquina? Esta de acá, no. Ah, ok, sí. Ok. ¿Y le va a poner pavimento a todo el...? Si no el aire le va a echar todo el día. Ok. ¿Y toda esta parte del lote número 2 también? Sí. Bueno, esto sería área verde. Ok, área verde. Yo había comentado con el señor Cervantes si me dieron la oportunidad de hacer un localito para raspas. Pero ya me dijo que primero hacer una cosa. Sí. Sí, claro.
Questions? Any other questions? Gracias, Mr. Delgado. Mr. Cervantes, anything else you want to add before I close the public hearing?
No, just keep in mind, we're approving commercial zoning. We're not approving a car wash. We're approving commercial zoning.
And I'd like to close this public hearing at 39. Is there a motion for approval? Is there a second?
Second.
Who seconded that?
Commissioner Suarez.
Okay, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mucha suerte.
A usted. Contractuals under item 7A, consider certification of the 2014 anticipated debt collection rate and 2013 excess debt collections. Mr. Gomez.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good
City
evening.
Commissioners. And this is the to certify the 2014 anticipated debt collection rate and 2013 excess debt collection. And it's just a formality. Is the same rate, which is 100% issued every year. And at this point, our recommendation basically to certify the 2014, the anticipated debt collection rate, and the 2013 excess debt collection.
Any questions? If not, is there a motion for approval as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, discussion and consider proposed tax rate for the city of San Juan for the fiscal year beginning October the 1st of 2014 through September 30th of 2015, and set public hearings. Mr. Gomez.
Yes. Yes, Mayor. This particular item has to do with your tax rate for the city of San Juan for the fiscal year beginning 2014, October the 1st through September 30, 2015, and set the public hearings. And this is regarding the property tax law. Whenever the proposed tax rate exceeds the effective rate on the rollback rate, it has to be a public hearing. And we have scheduled the first public hearing on August the 26th and the second, September the 9th, for the second public hearing. And just to give you some feedback on the tax rates, the rollback rate, and also here, if you have any specific information, Mr. Fernando Costa from Appraisal District Cantu, I'm sorry, is here to, if you have any particular questions about the rates. The effective rate that they provided us this year is .6476 for every $100 for property value. The rollback rate is .6993 for $100 for property value. And our current rate from last year is .7386 of a $100 value. And just to give you some information, if we stick to the current rate of .73, is higher than the rollback rate. And so, and that will create basically difficulties as far as, there could be
Or an
an election.
opportunity for,
And so, and also I want to point out, give you some feedback on the amount of numbers on the property tax that, per the benchmark report, if you look at the third page of that agenda item, you're going to see how much tax revenue we'll be getting if we go by the rollback rate versus the current rate of .7386. And if we lower it to the rollback tax rate, we'll get an increase of $439,000. And we stick to the current rate, we will get $774,000. And so it's a decision that we have to make, but if we stick to the current rate, it can trigger a rollback election. And so, and that's and also want to make a correction on my recommendations. I know we discussed it, and we proposed the current rate, but we're want to make a correction, and I apologize for that, Mayor, is that we want to propose the rollback rate of .6993 for the reason that we've stated, that we're still going to get additional property taxes of over $400,000. Just to give you some feedback, last year, based on the benchmark reports, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it was basically zero additional property taxes. And so even though we lower the tax rate this year to the rollback rate, we will still get additional property taxes.
for a total of 439,901.
According to the benchmark reports, that is correct,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Acosta, I have a question on the rollback. Basically, we would not be changing our rate if we kept it the way that it is. It's the effect of the evaluations that's forcing that number to kick the rollback to 60.69, correct?
Correct. Within last year and this year, there's been an increase in value in the city of San
Right.
Juan. And that has, if you increase the value and you keep the rate the same, you're going to collect more money. So the truth in taxation calculations allow where let's try to keep it at the same budget as last year, or it allows you to go up to the rollback rate. And that will give you an extra $400,000. Will be like, if you look at the schedule, you'll be able to raise $5.6 million.
I'm sorry, that was last year's.
I mean, sorry.
5.9, I think it is, this time
I'm
around.
sorry. The rollback rate would be $5.9 million.
Okay.
You know, and last year's budget, you had 5.5. So that's an increase in money.
Now, how long would when we talk about anybody could actually take a petition and trigger for the rollback, what's the time frame that folks have the ability to do that? When it's proposed and before you accept it, or any time afterwards, or?
Once you propose and adopt, then they can begin the procedures.
Okay, so we'd have to go through all the formal,
Yes, you
to
would
try
have
to
to
test that.
adopt a higher rate than the rollback, and that's when they can get into action and get the petition going and request to have a rollback election if they have enough signatures. And those signatures need to be verified by the voter, county voter elections department.
well, I think that that would be too much of a risk to take if we're having to develop our budget based on a rate that could definitely be challenged. I think the best thing that we heard was that the county also wants to reduce, so in essence, we would be reducing if we were to take the recommendation of, and if we were to adopt the rollback, we can go right at the rollback rate, or does it have to be a little bit lower, or?
If you propose tonight the rollback rate, you're gonna have your 2 hearings, and in any time up to the date of the vote for the adoption, you can adopt the rollback rate or anything lower. Okay, but
In essence, today we'll be setting a limit
the limit,
that we will be having at at 2 public hearings.
yes, correct. You cannot go above what is selected.
Whatever is
Select
selected
today.
today.
Yes.
I think when you look at the numbers, man, 700 and some $1,000 would be awesome as well. But I think the fact that our folks are looking at quite a hit again, and we could allow a little bit of that relief, and then come back to the voter later if we had to propose some of those, our police station, our streets, but in a good faith effort to be able to say that now we're even getting an increase. I do like the recommendation of the rollback rate. Yeah, but any questions, any other questions for Mr.
I just
Acosta?
wanted to really highlight the fact, literally and figuratively, that our taxable appraisal has increased over 50 million from last year. And that's really what's caused this to happen. And so, although that is a great thing, it's also a bit of a challenge. And so, I just want to make sure that at the next hearing that we have to discuss this, that we're letting people know.
It's a double-sided sword because now you have it in value, but you also need to come up and provide resources for them. You know, if you added another 200 houses or whatever the figure is, now they need services too. So if you do last year's budget, you're gonna come short because now you have more constituents to take care of. So it needs to be balanced, and that's why you guys have that.
Now, how does this affect our debt service or our
Debt
M&O?
service, we calculate the debt service for you depending on your bonds, and that's a guarantee. We always recommend,
Is that using the formula to set the
the
rollback?
rollback, no. Only on the maintenance and operation. The debt service is taken out of the rollback calculation.
So if we had more debt, then the rollback rate would be higher?
Higher, correct. Again, because you have to commit to all those bonds, and you want to keep your rating high.
Now, is this, I guess the question, I'm sorry, would probably need to be to bond count, or to our financial advisor, if this is going to impact our rating or potentially impact our rating since we're lowering the tax rate, or even our borrowing capacity. For sure, the borrowing capacity will be impacted, but we'd need to maybe bring Mr. Vela to the next meeting where we're going to have this, so that we can also identify the impact to our rating, if any, and then also address our borrowing capacity if that's impacted, which I'm sure it is, because now there's less revenue.
There's going to be more revenue.
More revenue.
Right. There's still an increase in revenue.
There's
right.
an increase. That also actually more than what we were going to get if we had stayed at the same rate and no change. So,
Mind you, whatever your proposed rate it is, in a recorded vote, like in your minutes, you know, so and so
Isn't there a
And that would
par-
be the one tonight?
tonight.
Okay.
Isn't there a paragraph that has to be read specifically, or is that when we set the,
Yes, there
Tax-
is.
That's what he said, that we're here to propose and discuss and propose the tax rate.
And then, I guess on the next one, once you, in the public hearing, that's when we do.
oh, that's when there's like that paragraph and you have to, you know.
I want to suggest that we take the recommendation of the, our finance director for the rollback, for the sake of not taking a risk in a rollback movement by our taxpayers, still realizing at least 400 and, what is it, $39,000 with the existing valuations.
I'd like to make a motion to the effect that we also take the recommendation that Mr. Gomez has made today, not what's presented in the
Correct.
packet, but what you're making today of the rollback tax rate. I think that as we talk about a new taxing entity, a new tax rate, we're able to lower it 4 cents, and then the county lowers it 4 cents, then that 8-cent increase will not impact our community at all. So I think that's a really good reason to do this as well. And so I'll make the motion to set the rollback tax rate at .6993 per 100.
For a second,
Second?
all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Is this the one that had to be recorded? So we all need to raise our hand? Oh, one by one, okay.
I vote yes. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Commissioner Garza,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Acosta.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we mentioned both meetings, which is August the 26th and September,
We'll post them as public hearings to discuss that,
September 9th, yes.
for both of them.
And those are our regularly scheduled meetings, correct?
Yes. Okay, I'll give you the news.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. Item C, consider approval to acknowledge receipt of certified appraisal roll presented by Paulo Paul Villarreal Jr., RTA, City's Tax Assessor Collector, as prepared by the Hidalgo County Appraisal District. Mr. Gomez.
Yes, Mayor, we got the financial, the appraisal data from Mr. Pablo Villarreal, and according to property tax law requires the assessors to make the report to the taxing entities, to the city. And as we mentioned, you know, the property values went up compared previous years. And I provided on the third page, on the fourth page, actually, additional information as far as the net taxable amount. And as you can see, on 2014-15 tax year, or property value went from 817 million to 868 million. And that's about 6.23% from previous years. And that net difference kind of equates within the last 4 years, from 2009 through 2013. And so that is, as far as the appraisal, is a positive sign that the city is moving forward, and of course, more funding and for the property, on the property taxes, which is basically that's our bulk of our revenue. And so my recommendation to approve the receipt of the certified appraisal roll as presented by the tax assessor collector as prepared by the Hidalgo County Appraisal District.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved?
Is there a second? Second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Gomez. E, consider a monetary contribution to the McAllen Public Utility Board and South Texas Water Utility Managers Association for the participation in a Texas Water Development Board grant for water and, did I skip one?
That was item D.
Okay, I thought I had just read that one. D, consider amendment to the interlocal cooperation agreement for tax assessment and collection with the Office of Tax Assessors Collector for the County of Hidalgo. Mr.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mayor. It has to do with the amendment to internal local cooperating agreement originally signed and approved by the City Commission on April 2006. Currently, we get $36,750 that they bill us on annual basis. And on the amendment, they're requesting a 5% increase, which is $38,592. And so in the last time it went 5%, it was back in 2010. And at this point, my recommendation is basically to approve the amendment, interlocal cooperating agreement for tax assessment with the Office of Tax Assessor Collector County Hidalgo by the increase of 5% for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2014 through September 30, 2015.
Gomez, the adjustment happens according to the valuation from the county, or what triggers that?
So,
I mean, what, the 5%, it says a 5%.
right.
And that was since back when, in 2006, so,
Based on my data gathering, it seems like every 4 or 5 years they revisit the contract and they decide to adjust it. And so 5% increase for the twice in the past, I would say 8-9 years is reasonable to me, you know, with the level in inflation of 3% per year.
and this is across the county, is that correct? Everybody? Not
It's
just-
something that I'm gonna be able to answer.
It's not just one entity or anything like that? Okay. All right. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion for approval as presented? Moved by Commissioner Garza, second by? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Gomez. E, consider monetary contribution to the McAllen Public Utility Board and South Texas Water Utility Managers Association for the participation in a Texas Water Development Board grant for water and flow monitoring study of the Rio Grande River. Mr. Olvera.
Good evening. Filimon
Good evening.
Olvera, Director of Utilities. Yes, this item was brought before the commission on July 22nd. It was tabled. The commission asked two questions, so I made contact with Mr. Marco Vega with McAllen Public Utility Board, and according to Mr. Vega, there is no timetable to participate in the project. To participate in the project, McAllen Public Utility Board already committed the matching funds with the Texas Water Development Board. He also confirmed there is no minimum contribution, but that the typical contributions were between $500 from the neighboring cities. He said they would accept anything from $200 to $1,000. So staff is recommending a minimal contribution to the project. We will receive recognition. I know the Texas Water Development Board looks at the regionalization and collaboration projects. So it is a study, though, not for any infrastructure. All it is a study right now. So we are recommending a minimal monetary donation.
That would be 200?
200.
That's the one that you said minimum.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Can this be paid from the utility fund, or this donation be made from the utility fund?
I have a line item for dues, membership. Not sure. I will have to check with finance.
I was thinking that way, it won't necessarily, and it's not a big amount, but it won't necessarily impact the city budget, and it makes sense for it to come from the utility fund. So I'd like to make a recommendation that we participate at the level of $500 from the municipal fund, from the utility fund.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We will draft a letter through the city manager.
Okay,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Alvaro.
okay. Next on the agenda, item A, approval of minutes, July 16, 2014, July 22nd, 2014, budget expenditure as of June 30th, 2014. C, consider second and final reading of an ordinance for the rezoning request for general business to heavy commercial district for the property legally described as 258.5 feet of the north, 500 feet of Lot 12 Mirales subdivision located 912 East US Business 83, as requested by Armando Mireles. D, consider second and final reading of the ordinance providing for a special use permit for drive-through for the sale on-premise consumption of alcohol beverages at Marisco Estrella del Mar, restaurant legally described as Lot 2, Block 2, Pecan Estate subdivision, located 901 North Raul Longoria, Suite 1, as requested by Marta Trevino. E, consider second and final reading of ordinance adjusting the corporate boundary of the city of San Juan, providing for the voluntary annexation of Sol y Mar RV Park consisting of 5-acre tract of land out of 100-acre tract, as described in Volume W, pages 557 through 559, Hidalgo County Deed Records, with a 100-acre tract shown in the plat of Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision as recorded in Volume 1, pages 24 through 26, Hidalgo County Map Records for Hidalgo County, Texas, including the Ridge Road right-of-way in the Ridge Heights, between the Ridge Heights subdivision and Solimar RV Park, all located approximately a quarter of a mile east of Stewart Road along south side of Ridge Road. F, consider second and final reading of the ordinance repealing ordinance 89013, hereafter to be known as the City of San Juan Garage Sale Ordinance, regulating garage sales, flea markets, permitting garage sales in residential zones under certain conditions, requiring the owners or occupants of homes within the residential zone areas to obtain a permit, making it unlawful for an owner or occupant to hold the garage sales without a permit, ordering fines or violations of this ordinance, prohibiting the collection, storage, display, and sale of used and new goods in open and unapproved lots in the city, making it unlawful for any person to use any street, sidewalk, plaza, park, or other public place within the city as a place of business. G, consider second and final reading of an ordinance providing for a special use permit for the sale of on-premise consumption of alcohol beverages at Los Agaves Restaurant, legally described as Lot 1, Porciones Center subdivision, located at 2003 North Veterans Boulevard, Suite 1 and 2, as requested by Juana Benavides. H, consider second and final reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Juan, Texas, approving a negotiated resolution between the city and Texas Gas Services regarding the company's May 1st, 2014 cost of service adjustment filing, granting the company's request for good cause waiver of language in Section C.5 of the COS A clause, declaring existing rates to be unreasonable, approving attached tariffs that reflect rate adjustments consistent with negotiated settlement, and finding the rates to be set by the attached tariffs to be just and reasonable, providing for the recovery of the city's TG's reasonable and necessary rate case expenses, adopting a saving clause determining that this ordinance was passed in accordance with the requirements of the Texas Open Meetings Act, declaring an effective date, repealing any prior ordinances consistent with this ordinance, and requiring delivery of this ordinance to the company and the city's legal counsel. I'd like to go ahead and tender the minutes to Mr. Rodriguez. Are there any items that want to be pulled for consideration? If not, is there approval of the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now, the City of San Juan Commission will convene into executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Vernon, Texas statutes and codes annotated, Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirement that the meeting be open, Texas Government Code, Section 551.074A1, Personal Matters A, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, employee, City Secretary Bobby Rodriguez. We'll go into session at 7:03. At 7:50, under item in executive session, A, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer, employee, city secretary Bobby Rodriguez. Council, do we do that as an approval or as a no action? How does that go? How do we present that, what we did with the evaluation?
Take a motion on whatever one of the members of the commission wants to do with respect to the evaluation.
I guess so we could say something like, per the evaluation,
Adopt the evaluation and discuss in executive session as an example.
and have it added to his personal record. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the evaluation that was conducted in executive session and have that added to Mr. Rodriguez's personal record.
Somebody else who evaluated and can second on that one.
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Against? Me. Did all of you vote? Then motion passes.
Evaluate, I think.
Well, not really, I mean, they can vote if they'd like to on the motion. They didn't participate in the evaluation, but the commission is free to vote on their city members.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Right.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned at 7:52. Chief, I'm going to give